Mary here, the host of the Creators Lounge. I am excited to share with you that I was recently promoted to intergalactic reporter. I just went up to the moon to the Rosenberg Space Habitat, just checked into my new module. It's really nice. It's a 2.5-story structure, great for moons and planets. And I decided, actually, I was called back because we have a very important guest. We have Adele Ratcliff, Director of IBAS, U.S. Department of Defense. Let's see the Creators Lounge now.
Hello, this is Mitch Free here at IMTS 2022, hashtag We Are All Creators. And I am excited to be sitting here with Adele Ratcliff from the Department of Defense. And she is in charge of the industrial base analysis and sustainment. Adele, thanks for joining me. What does that mean?
Thanks, Mitch. Before we get going on that, I got to say that was a great opening song. I'm from Mississippi State, and I just felt like I needed more cowbell in that moment. So,
yeah, more cowbell.
More cowbell. But and
it.
I'm excited to be here with you, man. I've been chasing you all week, so it's finally good to be able to see you.
Glad we connected. Yeah.
So the IBAS program, is one of two investment programs that we have in the parent organization that I work in. And the Office of Industrial Base Policy within the Department of Defense. And we're concerned about, the health and well-being of the U.S. Industrial base in terms of its ability to make things here for our economic prosperity and our national security. And so we use the IBAS program to go in and work with industry really to create, sustain, maintain, and expand supply chains and companies to meet our national security needs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think there's a really interesting wall in this building of like advanced technology and things, and some of that actually spawned from some of your programs, right?
Yeah, it is. In fact, we've partnered with Oak Ridge National Lab on an effort related to machine tools. We call that ACE, America's Cutting Edge. And it actually started from 2018, walking the shop, walking IMTS here in 2018. Mm-hmm. We were looking at doing some research on why was the U.S. machine tool sector number 5 in the world and no longer number 1. Mm-hmm. And we interviewed our global competitors and took that information and decided to launch an initiative in partnership with Oak Ridge that would accelerate advanced machining and manufacturing research for the machine tool sector. Yep. And that moonshot over there is the example of what some of the work is that we've been doing over the past 2 years.
So we talk about moonshots. That's something I know you're really good at thinking about and supporting. What are some of the things that you're thinking about that you could share with us? And like, here are things that I think need to happen in this country and need funding.
Well, there's a lot of landscape there, but when it comes to machining, what we're trying to do, and I use machining broadly to include additive, metrology, that ecosystem needed for a healthy industrial base. We really have not been having a concentrated effort on R&D, research and development in the United States focused on that. Mm-hmm. And several years ago, we started to study that. And then we partnered with Oak Ridge, a national treasure there to do that. Mm-hmm. What's exciting for me is that 4 years ago, when we were here last year in person, in the emerging tech was an effort that we had partnered with Oak Ridge back then, which was a large additive capability. And we had, the output of that, the Corvette, the Jeep, and some other things that were, later on here front and center on how do you do fast laydowns of additive. Yeah. And then fast forward, we're seeing it now incorporated into the commercial business lines over and over and over. Yeah.
But people would think, initially look at that and say, that makes no sense to print a car. But that's not necessarily the goal, right? The goal is to learn the technology, learn how to do it. and then let industry figure out how to apply that to other use cases.
Yeah, we could print a square to
Yeah.
do the same thing, but people like the old vet, and they
Yeah.
like the old Jeep that we were printing and some of the
Yeah.
other things, and that's meant to inspire people to want to come into our space and help us accelerate our knowledge and advancing those manufacturing technologies at a faster space. And then they're commercialized now, at least
Right.
being commercially adopted, and industry's figuring out now how to apply that to the demands, the product demands today.
Yeah.
And that moonshot that's over there against the wall is our next step. It's we have a lot of small and medium manufacturers in this country. We want to help them be able to remain competitive.
Yep.
And how do you make big things in a small envelope?
Yeah.
And so that you don't have to necessarily buy bigger machines to do that. And so that's what that's about. But we've learned a lot through that process.
Yeah, sure. Now your focus is not just, like I say, it's not just machining, but I think you get involved in lots of areas of basically if it's manufactured and it has an implication maybe for U.S. economy or defense industrial base. So how broad does your spectrum go?
Wow, very broad. Like I said, we'll go in and work with a company that is producing products for us and may have older machines, and we need to help them modernize those machines. We'll do that. If we need to invest in, say, a material product line supply chain, like what we're doing now on heavy rare earths in this country, we're using the authorities of this program through the department and in tandem with our sister program, the Defense Production Act Title III program, to go in and help stand up that supply chain here in the United States. We'll do that as well.
Right.
Tungsten, we've done tungsten
Okay.
type capacities, but we also wade into things that the commercial market might be
Yeah.
more interested in, like workforce.
Sure.
And so now we've been leading efforts to move into communities to say, well, how do we promote the prestige of these new skill sets needed?
Right,
and
because we can develop all the technology and innovation, but if we don't have the workforce there, what good is it?
if you don't have it. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we did was we launched a competition because, Americans love to compete.
Yeah.
If you say you're not going to keep score, the first thing that's going to happen is keep score. And so we designed a competition that reflected what industry had been telling us that was needed in that training pipeline. And we used that to help go in. It's an interdisciplinary team competition, advanced welding, 5-axis metrology, CAD/CAM in a team competition. Think Master Chef for manufacturing, so to speak.
Yeah.
And communities love it,
Sure.
and the students love it, the instructors love it, and then states are figuring out how to modernize their training programs to meet your needs. It's working out great.
I think one of the ways we're really going to get people into this workforce is we have got to improve our inclusion. Right, of people all over, whatever community you come from, whatever you are, that's the people I think that have traditionally, in a lot of cases, not felt included in manufacturing. When you walk through, it's an interesting, very common demographic, and we have to get everybody inspired.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that,
Yeah.
Mitch. Like it might be an existential threat to your company if you are not recruiting from the broadest set of people that you can reach.
Yeah.
We are working with the National Guard Youth Challenge Program in one of our efforts. And these are high-risk youth in the high school, and they go through that program and they learn life skills. But what we're finding is that they are really good at accelerated manufacturing training programs, and they're really good in our employment pipelines. And so, I can think in the past, we wouldn't have necessarily looked at a high-risk youth class, but we have to, right?
That's right. That's where I think it's going to come from. I think you're going to see diversity in this workforce in the next 10 years greatly improve over where it is today, because it has to. That's where the talent is. And I've seen people that we've hired from sort of some at risk that come in, and the moment they make a part or something, holy smoke, they light up. They're so proud. And then you see that passion just go, and things that they never thought possible. But there's so much pride in making something and taking a block of metal and turning it into a precision part that's going into something important.
Yeah, we have a welding competition, and we're doing that in communities where our sub and ship workforce needs are. And we were in Philadelphia and working with some of those inner city schools, and we showed them the shipyard and said, history was written here for our country, and you You can be writing your history and help us write our next chapter in this country right here in that same shipyard. And boy, they lit up. They lit up in that welding competition. They were welding something that looked like a little sub. And it was exciting for them.
Yeah. So how do you know if you're succeeding in this role?
Well, you tell me. Industry is always telling us if we're succeeding or not, if we're rightly focused. I think it starts one, depending on what we're doing, but in workforce, we start to see movement in the communities that we've been operating in, that we've been investing in and championing and advocating for. And when we see more people coming into our space, when we see the state start to invest in new equipment that you need that match your needs, when we start to hear from you that, the skilled workers are coming out and they're better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I actually would say you're making a positive impact. I see it over, the 10-year period that I've been following the investments and things. I've seen the innovations. I've seen the awareness grow, the programs out. It's not an overnight thing, right? It's just little baby steps all the time to get after it. And then it's going to make a huge difference, but it takes time.
Yeah, I think the challenges are so big that we face in terms of trying to reclaim manufacturing here in the United States, but small wins build the big wins. Van Gogh said, our greatness is not achieved in one big stroke; it's achieved in a series of small strokes over time. Yeah, and we can't lose sight of that. That when you help change an individual's life, it will change a family's life and a community's life. And if you stack up those wins, then we're winning at a faster pace. That's
right. And it goes without saying, manufacturing is critical to our way of life, economically, to be able to defend ourselves. So as people think about, they've got some great innovation that they would love to, because there are people out there, people listening, that are like, I have an innovation, but I just don't know how do they even think about getting in touch with your department, or what do they do? What's their first step?
Well, we have an open door policy, so we're always excited to hear what industry is doing and where they're pushing the envelope, especially when it comes to the type technologies that we need in our industrial base. And so we have an open door policy. You can find me on, you can Google my name, Adele Ratcliff, Department of Defense, and my email and my telephone number come up, and we'll schedule a meeting with you. And then you can also always reach out to the Industrial Base Policy website and find any information about our programs, because we're not doing it alone. We have multiple programs that are working with industry. If you're a small business and you're still in that small business space, the Small Business Innovation Research is issuing grants all the time, and many of those are focused on the manufacturing technology growth, and of course our ManTech program in the Department of Defense, as well as the Manufacturing USA Institutes. If they're not familiar with those, you can likely find a home somewhere in one of those ecosystems across those institutes that we've established over the past 10 years.
And for company, because I talk to a lot of smaller suppliers that would love to be able to scale up and do business with the DoD and develop their capabilities, and they are trying to figure out how to access that help. And so that's the vehicles you're talking about. They should be thinking about.
Yeah, but in their local community, we have PTACs, Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, that will help a small company understand how to do business with the department and then go compete on contracts. And so there's a resource through our Small Business Program Office that now manages the PTACs, and those are available to support them. Yeah.
And I'm going to, just because I do business with the department, there's a lot of myths out there that I think keeps some companies from engaging. Example, I had always heard, it's very hard to get paid, right? You got to jump through hoops. Cash flow, you're strung out. Small businesses can't afford it. Maybe that was the case, but I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is when they deal with small business today, they're paying us with credit card, with a P card. You deliver, they send you a code, and they say, charge the card. So that waiting 60 nights, those horror stories, they're not there anymore. And so I think a lot of the myths that people thought it was so difficult to do business with the DoD, they're not perfect, but they're trying hard to fix them.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're getting better. We have improvement to make. Like we all need to improve our products and processes.
Yeah.
But there's a place for we need our small and medium manufacturers healthy in this country, and we need them in our supply chain.
Yeah. So this part of this whole thing is they want to focus a little bit on stories and things. So could you give us a quick your background, your story? How did you get into this, and what's been your career path?
Wow, I was in engineering, and I was bouncing all over the place, and I found a marine engineering program, which was ship construction.
Okay.
And it was a feeder program to a large yard in my area. And when I got out, I ended up going to a small yard in Florida. I worked a summer welding for them.
Mm-hmm.
I eventually worked at Eglin Air Force Base as a test engineer. After 12 years, moved up to the Pentagon for a career bonding assignment, never left. And I've been in manufacturing policy and investing and growing up manufacturing technologies and building the ecosystem in manufacturing for about 13 years, 14 years in the department. Yeah. And so it's kind of come full circle. I started in a private shipyard, and now one of my primary focus areas in what we do is really going into defense communities that are building the ships and subs for this next generation and working to help grow those workforce and training pipelines in those communities.
Mm-hmm. That's so
it's kind of come full circle.
Yeah,
for me.
It's been a great story. So they told me we got a few minutes left. So in these few minutes, what are some of the things you're most excited about seeing, whether it's here or in general, technologies of the future, things that you would want to share of these? What are the big optimism and innovations or big moonshots that we need to figure out?
Well, I think we need to keep pushing the envelope on how we re-envision what machining and manufacturing is if we want to remain competitive. I'm really excited about the convergence of additive and subtractive on the same machine, and the introduction of how Industry 4.0 can help really get to parts faster and know that part is contained within that shape. Yeah, which is we didn't always know when we first came into additive. It looked good, but we found that our part's not really there. But I think the convergence of that on hybrid really will allow an opportunity space that we're just really beginning to get to know.
That is true.
I'm really excited about Project MFG too. I'm going to flag
Tell
that
us
one more
about
time.
that.
That is that team competition. We work right now, high schools and community colleges, 5-axis welding, metrology, CAD/CAM, compressed timeline. We're launching our 23 series this fall. Nice. We just launched our national championship this past May. Yeah. We crowned the national champion there with ZYCI, Southwest Technical College in Illinois, and they were the winners. Nice. But we're broadcasting that on Clash of Trades on our Project MFG YouTube channel. Okay. It's a 3-part series.
Clash of Trades YouTube channel.
Yep,
okay.
Clash of Trades YouTube channel. We crowned them $100,000 though for the winner. 50% of that went to the competitors, 50% to the school, so that they can modernize their equipment and keep moving forward. Right. But we want more people. We're expanding our reach for that team, for the welding only competition. Nice. If you need a competition in your space, we'll come design one for you if we don't have one.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And we need more industry partners in that community. We want the big jamboree. We want to wrap the love around these competitors so that we continue to send signal to that younger generation. Yeah. There's a place for you in manufacturing, and this is cool, and you need to be here.
Exactly. Couldn't be better said. All right. We're going to wrap it up then. Adele Ratcliff. Oh.
Whoa. Just saw you out there talking Project MFG, hosting. What up?
Hey, Andrew Crow in the house.
We want to see you next season on Project MFG. Sign up now. We are getting the applications in. We want all your schools. We want all your support. All right, Adele. Thank you, guys.
Project MFG.
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah.
We have the best host. He brings all the energy, right?
That is awesome. All right. IMTS 2022, hashtag We Are All Creators. Adele, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Mitch.
Thank
you what you're doing for our country and your dedication. We love you.
We love working for you guys, man.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.